We're having a mass COVID-19 immunization clinic. We're gonna hit over 1,000 people today. Are you super excited?
I am over the moon.
Oh my goodness. Good.
Allie Staten finished her pharmacy residency in June 2019. Her first year on the job, the pandemic hit.
I'm constantly reminded of how amazing and uplifting this vaccine is to people. All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wait 15 minutes.
All right.
What was the past year like for you?
Just rolling with whatever you have to do. You have to work extra hours. You have to take away from your family time a little bit, and you have to do that to take care of your patients. You're welcome.
I want to give you a hug.
I know, air hug. You're welcome, girl.
Arkansas ranks pretty low among other states in terms of its COVID restrictions. You guys are pretty liberal in terms of what people are allowed to do, businesses being open, indoor dining, etc. Does Arkansas deserve to be prioritized for vaccines as a state that has very lax COVID restrictions?
Our patients are still patients. And you just can't say, well, Arkansas has been pretty chill with their restrictions, so we're going to give them less vaccine. It would be devastating to our state.
59 of Arkansas's 75 counties are medically underserved. The state is calling on independent pharmacists to vaccinate people, many located in areas without hospitals or much primary care.
If it weren't for community pharmacies like yours, how would people in rural areas be getting vaccinated?
Patients might be driving hundreds of miles, hours to receive the vaccine.
Allie's not just vaccinating locally, but also distributing doses to farther flung areas. In this case, Glenwood, population 2,200.
I'm heading to Buck's Pharmacy to distribute 1 vial of the Moderna vaccine. From what I've been told and kind of speaking with the pharmacist that I'm delivering the vaccines to, Kyle, they've gotten a little bit from the state, but it wasn't very consistent.
Allie!
Here's the vial.
Yes.
There you go, and then here's all of your ancillary supplies. I got it for 10 doses.
10 doses.
What is it like to have conversations with people about the vaccine?
So we hear from one end of the spectrum to the other. We have people that are wanting to get it no matter what, and their main question is, when can I get it? And then we have some people that are saying, is there a chip in this? Are they gonna be tracking me?
This is a song that I like. Your presence is heaven.
Margaret McElhannon was Kyle's teacher. Now she's looking to him for information.
That was awesome. Thanks for playing for me.
This is Kyle. That was when they were both in kindergarten in my class. But they've both become so...
Did you think Kyle would become a pharmacist?
I had no idea what these boys would come, but I knew that they were bright.
Margaret, when did you decide to get the vaccine?
Well, it wasn't right off. That was something that I gave a lot of thought to. And then it got my attention when a couple of my friends died from it. And I thought, I'm going to get that because I want to live the life that I have left, and why shorten it?
You said that the decision was a little bit hard to make. Why is that?
Because of my skepticism. Really, will it work? They came out with it so fast, and I'm used to it taking a little bit longer than it did. Hey, Kyle.
Hey. What you got, Miss Mac?
You know, I'm going to get the vaccine.
Okay.
I wanted to know, if I get the vaccine, can I still get the virus?
So it is completely possible, but what we're doing is we're decreasing your chances of getting the virus. So this is actually my wait list. There's probably about 1,500 names on this list. And we've been working through them the best we can as we get them.
Tell me about Margaret. What was your conversation like with her?
So Miss Mac, she called me and I said, you know, Miss Mac, I've gotten the shot. My wife, who's an educator, has gotten a shot. My grandfather's gotten a shot. If I would give them to all those people, I want you to have this vaccination. Margaret McElhannon,
Yes.
November 27th, 1942 is your birthday. You're getting your first COVID shot, right?
That's right.
All right, here we go. Just relax your arm.
I'm trying.
1, 2, 3. The science is a good thing, but we can get caught up in the science, and we want to push that on people and go through all these studies and the percentages and everything. But really what we found here in Glenwood, Arkansas, is that the more you can build relationships with people, the more you can bring that into the equation, the better response you're going to get to the vaccine.
So we're gonna pull some doses from the ultra cold freezer. That freezer can only be open for 3 minutes. The vials can only be out of the freezer for 3 minutes. So that's the only time we have. So I'm gonna set the timer, ready, go.
There's no room for error when it comes to the business of vaccination. In fact, many pharmacies are losing money on it. In Arkansas, pharmacists get reimbursed by Medicaid $40 for administering 2 COVID-19 shots. That's about what they cost on average to give out when you factor in supplies and staff, which means if you're lucky, you make a small profit or just break even.
I read a statistic that between around 2003 and 2018, 16% of independent community-owned pharmacies in rural areas closed.
It's sad for the communities. It's sad for the pharmacists and their families. It's sad for the employees.
Indie pharmacies were struggling prior to the pandemic. The problem has always been reimbursements. Pharmacies are sometimes paid below cost for the prescriptions they fill by middlemen known as pharmacy benefit managers. The PBMs say they're just trying to keep costs low for insurers and consumers. But in 2015, Arkansas lawmakers agreed. Pharmacies were being squeezed. And in 2020, the Supreme Court upheld the state's right to regulate PBMs. Nonetheless, many indie pharmacists say the business model is still broken.
Even if we submit a claim and say, I'm gonna make $5 on this one drug for dispensing it, well, they could come back and say, no, I'm only gonna pay you $3. Or actually, I'm not gonna pay you anything on it.
Are you saying that you don't have control as independent pharmacists over neither your costs nor your revenue?
It changes constantly, and it is a very, very difficult process to manage.
What happens if a pharmacist makes a mistake on any one of his or their business decisions?
If you mess up, you might have to make up for it and cut it out of your own paycheck. You have to keep the lights on, and you have to provide for your employees. I mean, it's your life at stake.
Independent pharmacies were struggling even before the pandemic.
Right.
Why?
The biggest challenge our small pharmacies have is an industry called the Pharmacy Benefit Manager, which is a middleman that originally was hired by insurance companies. In the last 15 years, the Federal Trade Commission has actually allowed them to merge with big insurance companies. And in fact, they often even own pharmacies. But when you're squeezed out of networks because 3 large oligopoly companies control 85% of all the prescriptions in the United States, there are conflicts of interest in the way access to patients are determined.
Is the main problem the amount of reimbursement?
Yes, they're actually offered take it or leave it contracts where there's no real negotiation that happens between the pharmacies and the PBMs. The pharmacies, if they want access to patients, they accept whatever the terms are, or they aren't allowed to participate. So that'd be like Arkansas playing Alabama in football, and Alabama owns and pays for the referees. It's not a fair playing field.
Why are independent pharmacies important? Why couldn't we just go to chain pharmacies?
Right, so in our state, in Arkansas, many of those chain pharmacies you're talking about don't have businesses in most of the rural areas of our state. In fact, not just the rural areas, also in certain areas of low-income areas, areas of color, areas where English isn't a primary language. There are areas all over where the local independent pharmacy is the only access to healthcare at all. They provide more than just pills in a bottle or prescription drugs. They provide answers and context to difficult questions about prescription drugs. 90% of Americans live within 5 miles of a community pharmacy. And I think that is really important because it's healthcare. It's not just a simple commodity.
So how will the COVID-19 vaccine change things for independent pharmacies?
It's going to transform the practice of community pharmacy and independent pharmacies because they're providing more services, COVID testing, vaccinations, and when you combine that with having access, immediate ability to have healthcare needs met, I think that's a crucial part of our healthcare system. Health is wealth, and without access to healthcare, I think you're less wealthy.